Hey everyone, it's Eric Lima here. You're watching my new YouTube vlog show for 2018, EML77 TV. This is the sixth episode of the show. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Ooh, what first 2 weeks of the new year. I mean, we're 2 weeks out. We're halfway through January after this. This is pretty cool. Now, rumor has it there's going to be another snowstorm coming later on in the week, but I checked the weather. It doesn't seem like it. So it's like always these low 40% chances, but you never know what is going to happen. So I'm praying that no snowstorm. If we get the 1 to 3 inches, which is fine, because sometimes the 1 to 3 inches, we don't need a whole crew to shovel it all out. So it's be great. I'm trying not to think about the weather. I'm trying to think of there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be happening. We don't know. It's up to I have a lot of decisions I have to make. I cannot say anything right now at the moment. But however, I just want to let you guys know that it will not affect this show whatsoever at one point. So, but instead of worrying about what's going to happen in the future, what's going to happen a few months from now and all that, I want to worry about the here and now. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have some, great add some greatness to the show, and there will be more of the same stuff that you saw on the when this show was known as TPL. But now it's EML77 TV. The reason why I put TV in the title, like I said it before, we have most TVs now you can put the internet on TV. Like you can watch YouTube videos on your TV set. So technology's expanded, and to the point where you just want to say, hey, this is awesome. So that's what we're gonna do. So that's why I decided to call it that. Because sometimes you're bored. Okay, nothing good on TV. Let's check the internet just in case you just in case there's nothing good on TV. You want to make sure your TV's got the Wi-Fi and everything else, so you can. It's going to be really awesome. It's going to be really cool. I want to talk about a person near and dear to my life who 6 years ago had passed away. Bonny Parker. Now, we're gonna woman, and it went just a second here. She's not an ordinary woman to me. She was my biological mother. I remember Friday, January 13th. I remember getting a phone call. Actually, my father received a phone call from his former sister-in-law, my Aunt Clara, and they tried to get a hold of me, and I think she tried to get a hold of me and didn't know my number or anything else because, a lot of things have happened. And so my father gave me the unfortunate news that my biological mother, the former Bonny Lima, Bonny J. Parker, had passed away. She remarried later on. And I was kind of I was stunned and devastated. I always try to keep in touch and keep in contact with my biological mother. And everything, every time something important comes up or something happens, if her birthday comes up, I try to call her and everything else. But a lot of things have happened. I've been working at the mall and everything else. It's been really a difficult journey because I went through a lot of things with her and my father back in the day. There was a few times, when I always say the 80s were my decade, but there's a time in a period that it was not. My biological parents were going through, separation arguments, and, a lot of things have happened. Drugs were involved, and it affected my whole family back then. This is before my father decided. This is before my father decided to clean up his life and get his life back together and in order. And it has not been an easy thing for all of us. I was an only child back then, and so going through a whole lot in my life. It wasn't the prettiest thing ever. So, my biological mother took me. I had no idea what's going on back then. I was only what, 6 or 7 years old, probably a little younger than that, 4 or 5 years old. Let me see. We moved in 1980. I'm only 5 or 6 years old. I mean, 4 or 5 years old. I I was really young back then, and went up to New Hampshire, and I realized where I was at, and I thought, oh, we're just visiting. I didn't realize I was staying over there, and I realized that, okay, this is enough. I want to go home. But my biological mother wouldn't let me go home because it cost a lot of money. So no, I want to go home. I was obsessed with going home. I did not want to stay. That's probably the number one of the reasons why I hated winter so much, because we were up in New Hampshire. There was a lot of snow. Because I think it kind of reminded me of my horrible time when I was a child growing up. That could be where my hatred towards winter began. But when I grew up, I didn't think much of it until I started driving. So, anyways, neither here nor there. So I, had a hard time with the guy that she was living with at the time. One time, my father visited with a couple of his friends, and he held me in his arms. He was in tears, saying, "I love you." I felt very sad. I wanted to go home with my father, but then, it was my time up in New Hampshire was like hell. So my father called my mother up, said, "I'm taking my son home. I want him to come home with me." And I, that Friday, I think I know why I like Friday so much, because Friday was the day he picked me up, and I was really excited to go back home. And once I came back home, there was a lot of things that had to be straightened out. I had to go through a lot of therapy, psychological therapy, and all that. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. So after a while, my father decided, well, he's straightened out his life. He decided to go to church, and I decided to go with him. I decided, well, I'm going to go with him. And ever since then, the rest is history. And so, like I said, having it been for my father, I wouldn't be here today talking to all of you. But I also want to thank my biological mother for trying raising me up. And I made the decision to stay with my father, and it was to the point where my father met somebody in '87. I will talk about a little bit about that in the next episode, because in about 1 week's time, my father and my stepmother will be celebrating their 30th wedding anniversary, which is really, really cool. I'm really excited about that. I'll be talking a little bit more about that, giving them shout outs a little bit more. But here's the thing. So my biological mother, ever since then, I always try to contact with her, write her letters and all that. I have my own phone. I call her on the phone sometimes, and but we were so busy with other things. She was going for a nurse's thing and everything else. She was working as a nurse up there. And then 2012, that phone call I just got, my father got, the message he told me that my biological mother passed away due to chronic bronchitis, and she smoked a lot. And it was really sad. And the man she married, Daniel Parker, passed away before her. So they're both reunited now. It's been 6 years since they passed away. It's been 6 years since she's gone. And I want to say thank you, my biological mother, Bonny J. Parker. Thank you. Thank you, Mom. And for bringing me in this world. And thank you for having me here. And I know you've always been watching over me, and I know you probably watch this in the great computer in the sky, but whatever, it's but I say thank you, I love you, and the legacy of being a mother continues through my stepmom Cheryl. Well, I call her Mom now, because I feel that she's one of the best moms out there, always caring, always giving advice and everything else. So, and it's because of her, she opened up my eyes to brand new things, and it's totally awesome. My stepmother Cheryl did, and that's why I always call her Mom, because she opened up my eyes, inspired me a lot, expanded my love for music, and what can I say? They're both wonderful. So I want to thank you. So rest in peace, Bonnie J. Parker. Thank you very much for bringing me into this world, my biological mother, and hopefully I can do this show. I wish you were alive to see this and say I love you and just peace. And I got a family which I'm thankful for, and they've always been with me. So thank you. So thank you very much. So that's all the time we have. I know it's a little bit heartfelt. I figured, I need something like that in my life. And thank you guys for tuning in and for understanding my background, a little bit my background story. Don't know when I'm going to upload the next episode, but like I said, with my job, which I'm hoping to change very, very soon. I'm hoping to change the job very, very soon. Like I said, I got, I think, 64 more days till my vacation time. And my boss told me I have it, but it's just a matter of filling out a form. So once that's ready to go, it's etched in stone, and then I will use that opportunity to find another job, and hopefully to get out of the mall business. I'm hoping to get back in the restaurant business, but we'll see what happens, though. I felt like, 23 years of that mall, like 50 of them over at Ruby Tuesday, over the now defunct Ruby Tuesday, and with the FYE closing in February, there's not a lot of stores left for me to shop at, to my liking. GameStop could be the only one, I rarely go eat anywhere. Like, I rarely go to Rayoni's anymore. And I've been using the Taco Bell mostly in New Bedford and all that good stuff. I've been shopping. I've been shopping more away from the mall than at the mall. Especially online. So we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen with Macy's and Sears. We know the Galleria's hopping on one leg right now. Walking on one leg right now because Sears is the only anchor store there open, while Swansea Mall's on life support, basically. So let's see what happens. A lot of changes happening in our mall, and I'm hoping, it'd be great if our mall still goes on forever, but, sometimes all good things come to an end. And if I do leave the mall, I'm just going to say thank you, so it's going to be very difficult, but a lot of changes happening and everything else, and some decisions I'm going to have to make, and hopefully this won't affect the show as much as it would. So just keep me in your prayers, guys, and just keep your heads up, and peace, and I'll see you episode 7.